Tanya and Rebecca make their way out and grab a few party favors and 2 carnations. As they set out to the driveway, they wave to one another and take their separate routes home. As Tanya and Rebecca head out, only Michelle and Liz are left in the room. They both give Cara a warm smile, grabbing party favors and a carnation. "Thanks for having us, Cara. This was a really fun night," Michelle says. Liz nods in agreement. "Yeah, I had a great time. I can't wait to hang my wreath in my room." "Of course, any time. But before you guys go, I just wanted to say something. What the hell was that earlier? Were you plotting against me when you were digging into my business with Gianni? How is that any of your business that we fought about Cris staying with us? That doesn't make any sense to me," Cara tells them as they head out down the hallway and through the foyer. Michelle and Liz exchange an awkward glance, realizing that they've been caught off guard. It's just... Michelle tries to explain, but she has a hard time finding the right words. Liz picks up the conversation, trying to diffuse the situation. "Cara, we didn't mean anything by it. We were just curious about what was going on between you and Gianni, that's all." Cara rubs her eyes gently before responding. "Well, there is nothing going on. We just had a small disagreement is all. Nothing too major." Cara sighs deeply. "I would really appreciate it if you have talked to me privately instead of discussing something like this in front of everyone, especially in front of Cris. That was incredibly rude. I'm doing my best to set a good example for her. I was trying not to drink too much throughout the evening. I was trying to hide my craving for a cigarette, but this conversation about how Gianni is worried for our safety and our marriage falling apart is definitely a huge trigger for me. I just want us to be able to talk about things and not self-destruct others with our words. We all need to stray away from these triggering topics in an effort not to scare Cris away. Next time you want to talk about my husband, my marriage, and question my ability to help people, you are to do that privately with me, alone. You hear me? While having these tough, triggering conversations, you both need to understand that there is a time and place for everything. Please learn to read the room before you bring up sensitive subjects like this at my parties. Other than that, I think you both have some explaining to do. I know you didn't just go outside to share a cigarette. You went outside away from everyone, especially me, to talk shit about me. That's disgraceful. So what do you have to say for yourselves?" Cara says firmly, finishing off her tirade to both Liz and Michelle. Both Liz and Michelle look surprised by Cara's vehement response, their faces showing signs of guilt and embarrassment. They both take a moment to process what Cara has said, and Liz speaks up first. I'm sorry, Cara. You're right. We shouldn't have brought up that topic in front of everyone. We weren't thinking about the consequences, and we crossed a line. We won't do it again. We promise the next time we have an issue, we'll talk to you privately before jumping to conclusions and sharing to everyone," Michelle continued. Cara nods, her expression softening as she hears their apologies. "Thank you for understanding. I appreciate your apology. Just remember that we're all friends here, and we should treat each other with respect. Next time, let's keep the private conversations away from other ears." "So, what are you planning on hosting for the month of March?" Liz says, changing the subject. Michelle puts a carnation and a party favor into her purse as she listened to Liz changing the subject. Cara is relieved to switch the subject and smiles at them. "Well, I actually have a few ideas in mind. First, I'll be having a St. Patrick's party. I'm hoping everyone can come to that one. And then I was thinking of doing a spring-themed party sometime later in the month. Maybe an outdoor tea party or something? What do you think?" "That sounds great. An outdoor tea party would be so much fun," says, her eyes lighting up at the idea. Michelle joins in. "Ooh, I love tea parties. We could drink tea and eat finger sandwiches and small desserts. It would be so cute." "Thank you, ladies. I love the feedback. Spring is one of my favorite seasons, and I would hate to waste the season with no parties. I always think about these things ahead of time so I can plan them just right. I can't wait to invite all the other girls. As for St. Patrick's Day, I know none of us are Irish, but it would still be fun to host something for the holiday," Cara smirked. "Wait, are you sure no one's Irish? Because I think Marnie and Rebecca might be," Liz questioned. Really? I'm pretty sure no one is Irish in our friend group, but if Rebecca happens to be, I'm sure she can teach us a thing or two about our culture," Cara says with a small smile. Liz and Michelle both nod in agreement. "Maybe we can ask her, but if not, you're right. None of us are Irish, but a St. Patrick's Day party would still be a lot of fun. We can wear green and have some Irish music," Liz adds. "And don't forget the shamrocks and leprechauns," teases Michelle. Cara chuckles, amused by their enthusiasm. "Of course, we'll make it a full-on St. Patrick's Day extravaganza, with party favors, of course." "Of course. I wouldn't have a party without party favors," Cara laughs, her mind racing with ideas. "I'm thinking we can have some traditional Irish food, like corned beef and cabbage, and shepherd's pie," adds Michelle. Cara grins, already planning the event in her head. "I love those ideas. We definitely need to have some fun Irish-themed games, too." Cara waves to the girls. "Well, thank you guys for coming and being honest with me. It truly means a lot. Happy Galentines," she pulls them in for a hug. Liz and Michelle both hug Cara tightly, happy to be forgiven. "Thank you for inviting us, Cara. Happy Galentine's Day to you, too," Liz says, her voice muffled by the hug. Yeah, we had a great time. We can't wait for the next party, adds Michelle, breaking away from the hug with a smile. I promise the next party will be just as fun, if not more, Cara grins. You two take care. Have a safe drive home. Michelle and Liz both wave to Cara before heading out the door. They walk down the porch steps and onto the driveway where Michelle's car is. Thanks for sticking by me, Liz. I couldn't have confronted Cara without your help, Michelle says, giving Liz a warm hug. Oh, of course. No need to thank me. We're in this together. I just know that Cara is doing her very best to cover up her act. Her lies are going to show and karma's going to get her in the ass. While she's out there saving the universe and helping as many people as she can, I'm sure Gianni won't let her get too far with helping Cris. If she says that she talked to him, we know that the conversation did not go well. When we brought it up to her, she continued to deflect and say that nothing had happened. But I still feel like she faked the phone call at the restaurant and definitely did some convincing. Gianni has always been very cautious around Cara, always afraid that her actions would affect their marriage, Liz explained, leaning against Michelle's car. Michelle nodded in agreement, thinking about Cara and her actions. You're probably right, Michelle sighed, running her hand through her hair. I know that Cara is trying to help Cris in any way she can, but it's not just about Cris. She needs to prioritize her marriage with Gianni as well. I hope they can work things out before it gets any worse. And we don't know everything. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know the conversations they have after everyone leaves their parties. What we do know is that he doesn't agree with her actions and doesn't always agree with what she says. I mean, the whole smoking thing, remember that? He reacted the completely wrong way. He freaked out on her. He swore at her. Those actions gave me the feeling that he's very controlling around her when we aren't with her, Liz says. Michelle nods slowly, thinking about that night. You're right. Gianni's reaction was intense. But I mean, he had every right to be upset, right? Cara had been smoking behind his back for years, and he had just found out. I can't say I wouldn't react the same way if I was in his position. I understand that he had every right to be upset, Michelle. Michael lost his shit when I told him I was a social smoker. But that's what you deal with when you're married. But don't you realize you enabled her? You enabled her smoking? You bought her cigarettes, lit up with her on school grounds, and then covered everything up in Marnie's office. It was all an act. And it wasn't until Don jumped into the conversation and escalated things until you confessed. Then you claimed it was public humiliation because of how quick your lies and Cara's were catching up to you. Not to mention you told her to hide the packs of cigarettes from Gianni so he wouldn't find them. Listen, I understand it was a tough time. You were dealing with Marnie and Don, whatever it was. However, I find that you're also responsible for this. You enabled Cara's smoking. It wasn't until Cara was caught by her husband when she decided to quit. Don't you realize what you did? Liz forces her hands onto her hips as she accused Michelle of the worst. Michelle's hands fall onto her face. Now why the fuck you throwing this on me? This has nothing to do with what we were talking about. Don't you see we're going in circles now? I didn't enable Cara. I started smoking years ago. Cara only joined me to help cope with her stress. She didn't know she was being influenced. I did not get her addicted. I offered to buy her a pack of cigarettes because Gianni checks her credit card. I offered to hide the cigarettes in my car because she says that he's not attracted to smokers, and if he found out their marriage would be over. Don't you see I was trying to protect my friend? I was never enabling her, and the fact that she would accuse me of doing that is this encouraging. She didn't play well into it for long. In fact, when we got into all that drama at the PD meeting with Don and Marnie, she said she was going to quit smoking. She never told Gianni about that meeting, how she was suspended. Everything was a secret. She didn't tell him about what happened with me and Mr. R. She was never honest about the abuse that she was facing when Marnie was principal. After Marnie got suspended, then fired, she told Gianni that she was hosting a drug intervention for Marnie at the house. She told Gianni to leave for the entire day so she could have people over. Everything is a secret in their marriage. There are times when Cara is too afraid to go to her husband with things, so she tells them to all of us, asking for our advice. She's afraid of him. She's constantly worrying about how he will react to things. She doesn't want to lose him because he is the breadwinner, and to be honest, she's a bit of a gold digger. So if you want to spread alleged information about me being an enabler, go for it. But I just explained everything to you. Everything you've missed over the past 2 to 3 years. Liz, a majority of the shit that I've told you is fresh information to you. Don only brought you back 5 months ago. Who are you to call me an enabler? We all just became close friends again. Once again, you know nothing about people's lives. You know nothing about the history of Cara at work or her marriage. You enjoy spreading false information and lies to feed your pot-stirring life. I get it. You enjoy gossip and drama, and probably eavesdropping. But that doesn't give you the right to talk shit about me in front of my face, calling me an enabler. What's next? Are you going to say I enabled you into smoking? 'Cause I know that's not true. I'll say it again. I never enabled Cara. I never kept secrets from her husband. I was just protecting my friend and protecting her marriage like what a good girlfriend does. But if you don't want to believe that and continue to spread misinformation, then I don't want to hear it, Michelle says, throwing her hands into the air as she gave Liz a lengthy lecture. Liz stood next to her car, stunned by Michelle's impassioned response. Her eyes widened as she tried to digest the barrage of information that had just come her way. She took a moment to collect herself before replying. Michelle, I'm sorry, Liz finally managed to say. I didn't mean to accuse you of enabling Cara. You're right. I haven't been around for the past few years. I don't know everything that's happened, and I shouldn't have said those things. I was just speculating based on what I've seen recently. Michelle fishes through her purse to pull out a cigarette and a lighter. Yeah, you better be sorry. That was a huge allegation and a false one. You have no idea what you're talking about. Better to keep quiet. You don't have all the facts, and you do this with everyone. Spewing information out like you're Us Weekly. It's exhausting, and frankly, I don't want to spend my time with you like that. Michelle took a heavy sigh as she inhaled her cigarette. Liz watched as Michelle lit her cigarette and took a drag. She nodded in agreement, taking the criticism to heart. You're right, Michelle. I don't know everything that's happened in Cara's life or in yours. I tend to jump to conclusions and make assumptions based on what I see and hear. I'll try to be more mindful in the future and not spread misinformation. I'm sorry for causing you any stress. Yep, I know I'm right. It's better to keep quiet, especially in situations like these. Cara's marriage is none of our business. I was just stating what I know. But the next time you want to throw information around with no real evidence to prove it, you got another thing coming, Michelle says. She opens her driver's side door and puts her keys into ignition to start her car. I'll see you at the next one, she waves, leaving the conversation at a halt. Liz waves slowly and walks down the driveway to retrieve her car. She takes a long sigh as she gets into her car and starts the engine. Michelle pulls out of Cara's cul-de-sac a few moments later, stressed by her conversation with Liz. Back inside, Cara lets out a small sigh, a mixture of tiredness and contentment washing over her. She looks around the now quiet space, admiring the remnants of their crafting session. She starts gathering the leftover supplies and putting them away in the drawers, making sure everything is neatly organized. As she finishes up, she looks around the now tidy room, feeling a sense of accomplishment.